Hello, welcome back to Kaiserreich. Let's continue. Let's continue finishing the war. I don't want to unpause though, because I want to see what happens to this. Because I did try to... Okay, so I've set them up as a front line, but the front line for some reason isn't showing up. Which is strange. Changing the USAC control... Or sorry, roundel. What is the USAC? US Army Air Command? Air... I don't know, Air Force something here. With the outbreak of the American Civil War, the issue has been brought up that our airplanes share the same Air Force patch as our enemies. While radio communication has allowed us so far to distinguish between... Yeah, that's a problem. Friend and foe, reports of friendly fire and unexpected enemy attacks abound, and the Air Force officers have come up with a proposal to change our roundel from the star symbol within the blue circle with a red dot in the middle. That's the classic Air Force roundel. To a different roundel, so our anti-air units may better differentiate our planes from the enemy's. What should we do? See, let the enemy change it, the roundel is ours, or change it. I mean, logically, we should change it, right? Change it. Makes no sense to not change it, and the models do have a different roundel, don't they? Actually, no. This is the Army Air Force, right? Because I believe the U.S. Air Force at this time was not like an independent branch, right? I might be wrong, but I thought they were subservient to the army, right? But then again, when I looked at that, actually, I didn't see a red dot in the middle. Yeah, this kind of looks like a... Looks like they've changed it, yeah. The CSA one, I believe, has some, like, red stuff in it as well. So that it's not completely, you know, the same. Also, we gotta stop this. Just pin them. We don't even need to fight them. Because we need to keep this, them from, like, actually reaching their allies here. Because if they relink, then the encirclement is dead. Essentially. Going to reassign all these guys on that, because we... Oh, okay, now it works, yeah, because we're gonna have these guys on this anyways. And then, of course, you can probably set the Delaware detachment on that exact same one as well, because they have a lot of cavalry, so they can get there pretty fast. And then I'm going to set the Minutemen, the other, you know, quote-unquote elite forces here, the professional ones, up on the north here. And they're going to be pushing through what is probably the worst territory to push through, to reach Seattle and stuff. With the idea being that we can potentially enclose them out here in the Rockies, so we don't have to fight too much in the Rockies and stuff. And you know, Nevada and all that. Spanish Civil War is over, the colonists have won. Of course. But yeah, so I'm hoping we can do that. And then... Also... Are we in agreement that this is a bug? Because I kind of want to give that back to you know, the people to whom it should belong. Same with this stuff. I'm not actually quite sure who this belongs to, if it's Tibet or these guys, because nobody has a claim on it. Okay, they managed to break our attempt to encircle them. Actually, we are reaching another potential encirclement here, if we can... We need someone to pin them over here, so that we can take this. And yeah, now these front lines are horrendous, which is why I'm going to remove the western, you know, kind of impromptu army group that we made. Like, I'm going to remove their front line because there we go. It needs to be fixed again. I gotta remove these guys as well. And then hope that they're all reassigned to their actual front line. There we go. Now they should be fully encircled, and we just need to wait for them to get into position. And then we can just push on one point, probably Lincoln, and they should fall. We don't necessarily need to fight them, we can just hold them You can see the attrition is already starting. Is already starting to set in. We gotta hold them here. Let's try to actually just move into Lincoln. And okay, we got way more militias here, which I'm not even sure if we need to deploy them. We can create a like a reserve group here because at the moment we have the armies we need, and I would rather use as little of the militias as possible because at the moment they're just costing us manpower and guns, as they are rather ineffective divisions compared to our professional troops. A possible ceasefire? No. There's no point in this. If we do a ceasefire, we're gonna gain base stability, which I want, but we're only going to lose 1% if we don't. If we do one, we are going to benefit more from it than the enemy. Of that, there is no doubt. But a ceasefire at the moment is also going to mean that the war is going to take longer, and we won't like be able to do the focus choices yet. And I'm not actually interested in that. I want to get this done with so we can start, you know, thinking on a more like international level. Because this war is going to happen at some point. The second Weltkrieg will break out, and I want to have as much time as possible to intervene in that if we see the need to, or an opportunity to. There's no point in this. No ceasefire. Let's do higher production efficiency cap. Because then these guys can build up their production efficiency cap a little bit, so that we can possibly eliminate our gun deficit here, which we are actually, you know, well on our way to doing that. We're only running a deficit of, I think, 5,000, oh, 8,400. So we were at 27,000 earlier, if you remember. Now we're also producing some fully fledged professional divisions, which we'll send off to the New England detachment, which is currently not actually doing anything. Alright, let's just manually send them in. Across the board here. Again, we don't have to do this. But in closing this, we can stop worrying about holding it, and we can potentially like reorganize these armies so that we can get all the professional troops out of these and create a third professional army, and then just get the militias off the line in general. Order restored in Virginia, so we now have a core there. So now our manpower should be climbing quite heavily because we've got all this new territory and stuff, as well as getting cores on it, which also means that we gain more manpower as well. Let's see, we have... These guys should be helping out this attack, and these guys should be helping out this attack. There we go, now we just need to wait. Another side effect of this is that we can potentially eliminate some of the volunteer troops of our enemies here. And I say our enemies because they did purposefully decide to side with our enemies, I suppose. Pacific rebels. Oh, god damn it. We shall endure. And also a second Melbourne uprising. And now we have syndicalists in power in Australasia after the coup by the Australasian Guard. Now the syndicalists have taken power there, and that is actually interesting and troublesome. So we need to deal with these guys who are... Actually, it's good we kept the New England detachment here. But yeah, these guys who are... These guys do not have a port at the moment, so they're not a problem. These guys do, so they're a problem. In fact, let's just put all these guys into this and give them a general. Puller, why not? And put him down here. The motorized should be able to deal with this, I think. So what we have selected here accidentally. There you go, get them onto that. Yeah, so they are currently functionally encircled, they should be. Which means that they should be losing a lot more organization. And they should not be recovering any strength. So even if we don't take them out immediately, they're going to be moving around, trying to get to a port or something. And while they're moving, they're going to be using up their organization. Which we just saw like a tiny bit of there. Used a little bit of organization. So all we have to do is give chase and try to stop them where we can. There's a lot of them though, so this one motorized division will not be able to take them all. That's why I'm hoping that once we've got everyone in position here and got everyone fighting, they'll deal with that fast, and then we can then reposition them to stop these guys. They're actually not using a lot of their organization moving here, sadly. We might be able to capture Providence, or... Don't actually know which one holds the naval base. That's Rhode Island, so that's actually Providence, yeah. Okay, we gotta capture Providence and Boston to stop these guys. Should not be a challenge. And yeah, we're holding these guys. We just want to keep holding them, honestly. Those are... so it says TR. Yeah, it's a troop convoy. So they are sending troops up and down the coast here somehow, and paying the price for it. Nationalists win in South Africa. So now we have Daniel Francois Malan. I believe that name has been changed. It was something else, I believe, in the past, which means that this person is probably... Yeah, wait, James Herzog. Where's Herzog? Because I thought this guy was Herzog. National Party's newspaper, Die Burg... okay, I'm not gonna read that, honestly, because we've got stuff to deal with here. I need to stop getting so distracted. We can allow ourselves some distractions. Yeah, it seems they've shipped their troops in Providence away, which means these guys are immediately encircled. They're rushing to Baltimore. They're gonna take that port, I think. Don't think we can catch up. Yeah, let's just push in. Fully. Don't even bother about attack plans and all that. Oh yeah, we've got rebels here as well, which we need to deal with, which is going to be easy once these guys are pushed in. Let's set up an attack plan for the Minutemen up here. Long's Minutemen. Again, that should not be a problem either. See how worn down these guys are. No manpower. Yep, they're quite worn down. They have too large of an army, and they've been fighting too much, to the point where they cannot support the the military operations they've been undertaking. And also, we actually got there ahead of them to Baltimore, which is pretty good, because I don't think they can actually take Baltimore from us once we're holding it. And if they insist on trying, then they're gonna slowly grind themselves down. They could, of course, since they have more units, they could split up and go for Washington or Philadelphia or something like that, but apparently the AI isn't doing that. Because that would be the, you know, the straight-up winning strategy there. Let's have one unit take back that tile, just because there might be factories and stuff in there. I believe there's a naval dockyard, it looked like it. Low manpower, we trained someone. Where? Up here. Sound like we trained someone. Oh yeah, of course, we got more militia we can call up, even though I don't really need it. We're gonna get them back after the, like, they're gonna get recalled after the war is over, so... Really is no need. Okay, this is over now. Delaware detachment. Go at it. State militias here. Finish up, we've got AUS garrison. Yeah, so these guys are all militias. We don't need them for anything other than holding. So we're just gonna send them down to Texas and stuff, just in case we get any sort of uprisings. Alright, the front lines here are gonna be a mess because of the lakes and stuff. That's a problem. Kingdom of Spain has joined the Entente. Oh, okay. I expected the Carlists to maybe join the Germans, but I suppose it could go either way. Huh. And now we have the the United States of Greater Austria has formed, and they're still fighting their war here. Against the Belgrade Pact. Another war in the Balkans, of course. I'll just send the cavalry over here to try to take as many of these tiles as possible, so we can potentially get some less nonsensical front lines and whatnot. Might not be immediately, or might not happen immediately. Abyssinia declared war on Eritrea, so Ethiopia is having some problems here with a Somalian revolt, and Eritrea as well. Wait, hold on, that is the son... He was adopted by Italians after the Italo-Abyssinian War. Yeah, but this is, yeah, Haile Selassie's... It's Volde Mondeli Selassie. Interesting, so he is fighting against Ethiopia, where another Selassie is in charge, and we have a militarist revolt in Paraguay. Okay, national populists there. We might be able to cut them off entirely over here as well. Far too many encirclements going on right now. Don't really need these guys either, so I'm just gonna assign them, and then I'm gonna take all these guys out of like the trained professional troops out of all of the militia units that we made sort of impromptu when we needed them. We're gonna reorganize all that. We're gonna have the professional army set up, and then we're going to use them to push on the Pacific States of America for the final push here. I'll use the militia just in case if we need them anywhere to defend, but they will serve no other purpose than that. So, Delaware detachment. Let's actually get rid of, yeah, no militia cavalry. There we go. And they will be led by... Oh, he's got amazing stats. Ambusher, Ranger. He won't be needed or even useful in Nevada, though, because... Oh, we've got a lot of Rangers and a lot of people with a lot of godlike stats and traits, I mean. We'll create a new commander just because we will... he's got a very Swedish last name. We will eventually need them. It might be a good idea to get some training in for them. We'll just call them Florida, even though really it has no bearing on them. We'll, you know, again, reorganize everything once the war is over. No professional troops here, so these guys can also then... Let's set up a militia theater. And just put every army that is not filled with professional troops in that theater. Got some militia in this one, but that's fine. We'll free up Patton and possibly give him some tanks next to command so that he can potentially get some traits there, because a lot of his trait slots are starting to fill up. Let's get the next radar, because we're going to need to construct ships as well, and they will need radar. I'm starting to plan a bit for the future now. The Alsace Ultimatum now starts the Second Weltkrieg, the world war between the Commune of France and the German Empire. It starts because the French want Alsace-Lorraine back, and the Germans say no. Alsace-Lorraine was taken in the First World War by the victorious Germans, of course. We all know this, how the story goes. I'll train these guys, because they're quite low on the this stuff. Actually, no, I won't. We have full army experience. Why would I train? I was like, you know, let's plan for the future. Let's get some army experience. We have plenty of it. We need to actually waste some of it on creating a bunch of... Oh, Second Weltkrieg. Kingdom of Denmark has joined the Reichspakt. They're going to leave the Reichspakt quite soon. Yeah, I was about to say, we need to waste some of this army experience on making a bunch of divisions. And on upgrading our existing ones, because this one is quite lacking. Of course, our enemies' divisions are lacking far more than ours. Sicilus has joined the Reichspakt. Very nice. I'll get rid of this motorized division template, because we have way too many templates clogging up everything here. Cavalry division, we'll keep that one. I'm going to remove that and apply a engineer company just for entrenchment, because they're going to be taking territory and hopefully trying to hold it whenever we need, you know, someone to do it fast in places that aren't very defensible or kind of hard to move in, like Siberia and certain parts of the United States. Oh boy. Why did we have a convoy up there? Also, this song isn't... Like, this is a 10 out of 10 banger. This is a certified banger. We should have all the resources we need, but I'm going to Oh yeah, of course, you don't get resources in Kaiserreich when you expand infrastructure, but I'm going to expand infrastructure in order to basically make the supply situation from east to west a bit better. And make the transfer of troops from one coast to the other a bit better. Alright, well, now these guys can probably chill up here. We got people chilling out down south here. They're not taking attrition, are they? No, they're not. Yeah, there you go. Denmark has signed a peace deal with the Commune of France and have left. Iceland is independent. Were they independent to begin with? I forget. Netherlands has invaded Norway. Sweden is invading Norway as well, and Kingdom of Finland is as well, because they're part of the Reichspakt, and Norway is part of the Third International. The Italian Republic, which is part of the Donau-Adria-Bund, is invading the Socialist Republic of Italy, which means that the United States of Austria here are involved against the Commune of France with the Germans and also against the Belgrade Pact, which means that the Germans... Yeah, they're only fighting against the International. That's interesting. So you've got Austria here fighting on the German side, but also against, you know, their Balkan enemies. What if the Russian Republic is going to get in on any of this? They're helping out the Germans, who are helping us out. They're helping out the Pacific States of America, who was being helped out by the Entente, and who was not on the side of the Germans. It's very interesting. But I mean, even as Social Democrats, they want to see the Commune of France beaten rather than the Commune of France defeating Germany. That's also very interesting. I order restored in New Jersey, thank you. I forget what the... I'm just gonna, you know, right-click take this, because they are out of supplies. I forget what ideology they were in this this playthrough. They are... Okay, straight-up syndicalist. Don't think... Yeah, I don't think the Social Democrats in Russia should have a massive problem with straight-up syndicalists. But oh well. Yeah, it's just straight-up syndicalism the whole way around. And even with the radical socialists in Italy. Iceland has joined the Entente, okay. So the Canadians pressured them, I suppose, but yeah. The radical socialist ideology, by the way, is like, it's very misleading in this game. It is such a broad category of different ideologies. For example, the radical socialists in Norway, here, are not as radical as, even in this timeline where they are quite more radical, I believe, are not as radical as other ideologies that would still be grouped under radical socialist. Like certain communist revolutionary movements might have been placed under radical socialist as well. I feel like there's almost a need for another level of distinction on the socialist side of things in the on the red side of politics in this world. So where have the 6th Army gone? Brazil has joined the Reichspakt, interesting. Were they not quite democratic at this point? They are, though social conservatives, so I sort of understand why they wouldn't join or help out the International, but I also wouldn't expect them to join the Entente instead. Then again, you also got the French on the Entente, who have gone back to a monarchy. Not that the Germans necessarily are much better, because they have the old Junker aristocracy, basically controlling a lot of the politics in that nation. Maintaining a sort of stranglehold on politics and everything, so that even though there is democracy and people's opinions and their views are represented, the ones that are represented can never really go against the established order of the aristocracy in Germany. It's a very complicated affair. Anyways, that is it for this episode. We are at the 30-minute mark. Sadly, we did not fully collapse the PSA. We had a lot of minor setbacks in the middle of the country. Distractions. In the case of the insurrections, but I believe next episode we should have the Western Coast. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. You know the drill by now. Description has a lot of relevant information. Go check that out if you are so inclined. And that is about it. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.